Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. And all I can say of this week is total eclipse on Monday, ruling the entire week. Mercury is retrograde all week, and that definitely shows up in the cards that have come out. But really, the like far and above energy of this week is the eclipse, and I have put out a forecast on this eclipse specifically, which would probably be a good idea to watch. And this eclipse is conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. And so this is an exceptionally intense Aries total solar eclipse that is absolutely going to impact. And depending on what your chart looks like, where in your chart 19 degrees of Aries is, will depend on quite how it impacts you. But it's going to impact us all, no doubt about it. I have used this dragon because I, like many astrologers, think of eclipse time, eclipse season as like entering the dragon. And this is a north node eclipse, which means the head of the dragon. So the south node eclipses, which we had a few weeks ago, would be the tail of the dragon. And I have brought in tune because it's a good idea for us to get in tune with the energy and with how it's impacting us, so that we can learn the lessons of this eclipse for us, and also embody more quickly whatever that is, so that we can just cope more easily with the situation. And elevation, which is a joyful blend, but also because eclipses are elevating. They are like acceleration portals that pull us through something very intensely. So let's jump in. I've also drawn one card that is our dragon card message for this eclipse cycle for all of us, but I do want you to pick a card between 1 and 4, or you might pick more than one card, that's up to you. That's going to make it a little bit more of a personalized message for you. Where is the focal point of this collective reading for you? Okay, so pick a number between 1 and 4, and let's jump in. Ta-da! There is our reading, and here under my little mini dragon serpent is our dragon energy, the crystal yellow dragon. Opens you to higher learning and wisdom, expand your crown chakra for illumination, walk the higher spiritual path. And I think that comes back to the portal that we're in. I love that it is crystals all over this dragon. I mean, as a crystal healer, can't fault that. I love the color, which is very sunny and bright and cheerful, and the 1,000-petaled lotus of enlightenment symbolizing the crown chakra, because this is a dragon that will gently blow his sunny magic yellow crystalline breath on your lotus, which is above each of our heads, the symbol of the crown chakra, that 1,000-petaled lotus of enlightenment. And he is blowing that into like an energetic housekeeper. He is just igniting that crown light, which is how, if you were imagining looking down at earth, we would look down at people's little crowns and we would see these glowing lights of that. And our crown is our spiritual chakra connection. It is the space in which we connect to one another, and we connect to God or source, the universe, whatever languaging you use. So this is a powerful dragon. It's a 5th dimensional dragon. So it's a powerful dragon to come through for us at this time as well. So with that being a bit of a message for all of us needing to up-level our crown chakra hygiene, up-level our connection to source and our belief systems in many ways, not necessarily change your belief systems, but look at them through new eyes. What is working, what isn't, and how do I give myself a spiritual glow up, basically. So maybe you grew up in a certain religion and you fell away from it for a long time, and maybe it's time to come back. Or maybe you felt very stifled by the religion or the spiritual belief system in which you grew up, and it's time to break away. Or maybe you just feel like you need to be doing more of this within the spiritual belief that you have and less of that. Or maybe you want to add something new. I mean, it could go in any direction. This is a personal thing, and you need to find your recipe. With that in mind, excuse me, let's look at these cards again. Oh, Mercury retrograde moment, had a tickle, I needed some water. Okay, what I find absolutely beautiful about this is the balance in it. And there are no major arcana cards, so I think an eclipse cycle, especially a total eclipse in this, as we're having in this case, in the first sign of the zodiac. So it's a big initiation into Aries, the self. Who am I? What is my purpose? How can I be a pioneer and trailblazer on my own path at this time? Those are the questions that will be sort of wanting to be answered. That in itself is kind of like hero's journey stuff. I mean, that is major arcana stuff just happening in the sky. So what we've gotten in the cards is how do we bring that into elemental work, into the 4 elements, which are the grounding blocks of our existence here in our bodies on this earth. And we have 1 Pentacles card, earth, 1 Swords card, air, focusing, 1 Cups card, water, and 1 Wands card, fire. So here are our 4 building blocks. It's so beautiful. 2 of them are court cards. 1 of them is upside down. Let's break that down a little bit. We kind of start this reading with a focus on keeping our boundaries, keeping our energetic space clean. I feel, especially with that dragon that came up, especially with it being an eclipse, that a lot of this has to do with our energetic boundaries. Now, Pentacles is very physical, very real, very material, tangible stuff. So definitely keep the boundaries and the confines of your real world stuff secure. Check in with your finances, be sensible, check in with your home space, keep it literally clean and ordered and organized. Those kinds of things that are very practical. How am I looking after my body? Am I feeding my body well? Am I exercising enough or too much? Whatever the case may be. So definitely look at the practicalities of this. But I do feel like the energetic container is very important here. So what is my energetic container? Because it is in that energetic container that I am creating the material things within my life. And 4 is a building block number. It is a cube. It is a brick. So again, it's like, let me come back to the foundations. Let me make sure that I am building well. Because if I want to get really high, if I'm building a high rise and I haven't done good foundations, my high rise is going to fall down. So this is an opportunity for us to realize that, yes, this is an accelerated portal. It's a fire sign eclipse. It's intense. It is fast. It is moving. It is overwhelming. But come back down to earth. How do I get grounded? How do I get practical in this time? Very good advice. And then our 1 upside down card is the Knight of Swords. And I feel like a lot of this is because, well, largely Mercury is retrograde and Swords is air. And that is very mercurial kind of energy of wanting to figure it all out, wanting to fix the problem, wanting to build the building. Let's get it done. Go, go, go. And in protection or in reverse, we're sort of thinking, well, it's hurry up and wait. And I want to just remind you, and if you watch my full moon forecast, I do speak into this, but the ruler of this eclipse is Mars. And Mars is in a water sign of Pisces where he can't move very fast. His fire is out. He can't move. And then, of course, Mercury, which is an airy planet, is moving backwards. So he doesn't have the wind beneath his wings. So you can see how our poor little air knight, who wants to save the day and rescue everything and prove himself, is a little bit stifled. But air is also how we think about things. And I'm speaking air, I think we're having a very big re-evaluation about our belief systems, which comes back to, does our belief system, does our connection need a glow up? Does it need a perspective shift? Does it need us to add something, subtract something? We need to pause, reflect, evaluate. That's Mercury retrograde, and then take action. Not just jump up, run at the thing, and accidentally knock something down because it hasn't been built on a good foundation. And I think that's why we're needing to just watch how we think about things, how we speak about things, where it is that we try to charge in with good intention, but without a stable foundation. And where we need to be honing in is the Queen of Cups, in the sense of it's not really about what we think. And our belief systems largely come from what other people have thought for generations within your ancestry, within your society, within your belief systems, within humanity. We have been told that this is how things are. And when you're told that for generation after generation after generation, it's why you believe it. But sometimes we haven't had the opportunity to evaluate, Mercury, reevaluate in retrograde, whether that is true for us. And where the strength for us lies in this portal of the eclipse is actually to feel into it, because the Queen of Cups is an exceptionally intuitive channeler. She feels things through her emotional body and understanding in that very what is the word I'm thinking of? The water is very conductive, so she can absorb and process in this beautiful watery way things that don't necessarily make logical sense, which means we're feeling a bit chaotic and turned around in our brains, because my brain and my belief system says this is how to do it. And yet, if I can just slow down and not listen to my brain first, I just know. I don't know how I know. I just feel it. It feels good. It feels bad. It feels right. It feels wrong. This is not something I can scientifically explain. It just is. And that's our Queen of Cups. And that is definitely not a place that we have been encouraged for thousands of years to tap into. The power of our intuition, the power of our insight, our inner knowing. And yet that's a part that is being deeply catapulted into brighter, it's getting a glow up. It's getting a glow up. And when we're in that flow, and when we're in that trust, and when we're allowing things to channel down through our crown chakra, which is being opened up for us beautifully by Crystal Yellow Dragon, and you can actually see she's got this drop like a crown, look at that, coming into her, and the energy being channeled down to her. So she doesn't have to intellectually understand it. It is being given to her by Source. God, Spirit, the universe, Goddess, whatever language you use, she is absorbing this wisdom. It is not hers in her head, something she's learned. It is being gifted to her so that she can share it and pass it on. As a queen, she is a wise elder in the tribe. She is a wise elder in the community. She is here to share, and that is even further enhanced by our Wands card, because this is saying, and you need to speak your truth. But the truth not of our brains, of our conditioning, the truth that is literally coming down into each one of us individually, Aries, the individual, that is coming down into each one of us individually at this time. So the Seven of Wands, these wands have attackers on the other side. We cannot see these people that she's under attack by. But she doesn't seem too fazed. In fact, she's not even looking at them. She's looking at the Queen. She's looking at the Queen, and you can see this beautiful energy channel. Look at the line of energy coming straight to her voice. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I love how these cards do this. So literally, the Queen is allowing the energy to come down to fill up her cup. And from that full cup, she is sending the energy to her voice so that she can have a voice in this world. And in some ways, I mean, her voice is being activated, but you can't actually see her speaking here. So sometimes it's what you model. It's how you behave. Actions speak louder than words. It doesn't always have to be that you express with your actual voice. How do you live your life? How do you conduct your relationships with other people? How do you express yourself in any way that you express yourself? But because she is under attack by people who are coming from old, outmoded belief systems, people who haven't paused and gone, wait a minute, maybe my head is telling me something that isn't true. And who better to ask than God, than Source, than the universe? So now we get to her in her bubble, and that is because she needs to keep herself safe and protected in order to hold on to her voice. Because if we are afraid, if we are judged, if we are in the minority and being ostracized for anything in any way, and I'm sure we can all on some level relate to that statement, then we will contract. You can see her third chakra, her solar plexus, is glowing here. It is like a star of light. It is radiating, and that is her sense of self. And she needs to keep her sense of self and center, very strong in order to speak her truth, in order to model her truth into the world, in spite of naysayers, in spite of those that may judge, criticize, and even attack her for it. She needs to trust that this information has come to her from the divine light, from the divine source. And in the meantime, if we come back here to the first card, we can see that it is so important to have stable environment, to have a stable home space, to feel safe at home, to have stable people in your corner in order to be this amazing channel and mouthpiece, not always the voice, but let's just call it a mouthpiece of this divine knowledge. There needs to be safety and security and good foundations. And we need to learn how to sometimes slow it up, sometimes get out of our own head. I mean, get turned on your head. His head is down, his feet are up. And the energy in the soles of his feet is now coming down into him. And then coming back one more time to this beautiful crystal yellow dragon that is blowing his sunshiny crystalline energy on your crown chakra to just help you to clear any debris, anything that no longer serves you there. And sometimes this is a little uncomfortable. Let's be honest. We're asking some big questions. We're experiencing some big things. It's not always going to be comfortable. So you need to discern, where do I step in to this newness and where don't I? And how can I feel safe to go into spaces that are new? What are my safe spaces in order for me to explore outside of my boundaries? Deeply, deeply intuitive. Get out of the old conditioning. Protect yourself and do not be afraid to express yourself. I hope this has been helpful. I'm sending you so much love on this Eclipse portal. Remember to watch the Eclipse forecast. There are some very powerful dates that will continue beyond this week to help you activate where the lessons are in your life and in your chart. Thanks for watching.